These official Nintendo Switch 2 carry cases cost a total of $125 versus these cheaper third-party alternatives cost less than $20. So let's compare them and see which ones you should go for. I think you'll be surprised by the verdict. So firstly, let's start off with the handheld Switch 2 carry cases. The top one is the official Nintendo carry case, which costs £21 and $40. And then the bottom is the sort of knockoff, cheaper alternative purchased from AliExpress. This was literally £5, which will work out to be about $6 or $7. Now, as you can see with these ones, the cheap knockoff is literally trying to replicate the look of the original one. So it'll be really interesting to see them side by side. It's nice that this actually comes in packaging and has a box, but there's something that really bugs me about this. You can see the Switch 2 logos facing this way on the box, but the text here at the bottom, which kind of explains what's included, is the other way. So when you're reading that, this is upside down. And I don't know, I just feel like it would have made sense if that was the other way. It's been bugging me ever since I got it. And there we go, there's the case itself. We'll remove this foam, which reveals the blue and red colored zippers. The logo is kind of blending in on the front here. I've tried to brighten it up and still it's really blending in. You can hardly see the Switch 2 logo, but the texture on the front is quite nice. Very faint texture, it's matte finish, smooth. And then opening up the inside, and wow, that's actually quite plain on the inside. It's literally just an open space for the Switch. There's no straps, there's no kind of tab to pull up the Switch. And then you've got your game card slots here. There's 6 slots at the top and a pouch where you can put a USB cable or headphones or something like that. So here we are side by side. This is the official one, this is the fake one. And as you can see, the logo definitely stands out a lot better on the fake one, but you can see the texture of the case is completely different. It's a much softer and smoother material on this fake one. This one definitely feels a little bit more durable, more textured as well. But also you can see it's holding its shape. I don't know if that's just because it's been in a package, whereas this one literally came wrapped in plastic, so it's been kind of squashed. Now opening the cheaper one up, you can see there's actually a bit more going on. I quite like that there's straps here for the Switch. And on the top you've got your game card slots. This has 5 slots, so not quite as many, but a really large area for your cables or any extras that you want to carry around with your Switch. The inside material of the two, the official case is definitely softer. This will definitely be more protective. This one's a little bit more rough, but still I don't think it's enough to damage the Switch at all. So inserting the Switch 2 into the official case, you can see nice snug fit, fits perfectly. At the top we can put in our spare cartridges. And let's also try put a USB-C cable. So that's how it all fits inside. Let's see when you close it up how that feels. So that's the Switch inside of the case. A little bit of a bulge there, probably from the USB cable, but it feels secure in here. There is enough give in the case for the analog sticks to be pressed in, so you can hear the clicks from the Joy-Cons, but overall feels quite protective. The zip is smooth. I do like that these sort of rings are big enough to kind of hold the case from here, but there's no other place to put any straps on this case. On the back as well, you do have the official Nintendo logo as well. It's an additional branding on this case. Let's do the same with the cheaper case. So Switch actually goes in under these straps, which I actually like this. I think this is a nice addition on the cheaper fake Switch 2 case. It just feels a little bit more secure whilst you're still putting the Switch in and out. We can insert a game card in the slot, and at the top you've got the same area to put your cable in, but it's a lot bigger, which I like. But it is definitely looser, so this elastic is not very strong. So I don't know, if you put something in here, it might move about. That's not too bad. Let's close it up, see how that fits together. And there we go, that's the case closed with everything inside. You can see it's similar, to be fair, probably less of a bulge. Maybe there's a little bit more space in this case inside. Probably has more give before the Joy-Cons actually press inside, but you can see the material is not quite as firm as the official one. The zips are actually very smooth and almost loose feeling on this faker case, but I would say both of them function fairly well. So those are the two cheaper carry cases side by side. In my opinion, I would say the cheaper case is just fine. It does the job, it's just as protective. It holds the Switch, you got your game cards and space for your USB cable. It works just fine. But if you do like the extra bit of branding, you know, with the colored zips and the Nintendo logo on the back and a slightly higher quality material on the outside, then maybe you'd want to go with the official case, especially if you do need a screen protector for your Switch 2. This does come included with one. And there we go, that's the case out. Now this one, straight away the Switch 2 logo is a lot more obvious on this case, which I quite like. But the material is more of a sort of fabric material. It's not quite as tough and rugged feeling as the other official Switch 2 carry case that we saw earlier. We have a similar style zip here, but this is just completely black. There's no red and blue colors on here. And then you've got a pretty thick handle to carry the case. So inside the case, you've got this flap to insert your game cartridges. And then underneath that, you've got your slot for Switch 2 dock, the Switch 2 console itself, your Joy-Cons on either side, your Joy-Con grip. I do like that there's a symbol on each section so you know where everything goes. And this divider here is quite sturdy but nice and padded all around. Definitely feels like it's going to be quite secure. I have noticed that this is a removable section. So with these Velcros, you can just pop it out. And as you can see, this divider is completely removable if you wanted to use the case just as it is. So first we've got the Switch 2 dock, which slots in at the top there perfectly, really nice fit. And next we've got the Switch 2 itself, but we do have to remove the Joy-Cons for this. So let's just pop them out and actually insert the tablet itself without the Joy-Cons. And that fits in there perfectly as well. Nice snug fit. A Joy-Con on each side, one there and one there. The Joy-Con grip straight in the middle. We're going to put the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller in here. Now this does actually have a lot of movement and a lot of space for the controller slot. Everything else fits quite snug, but this has plenty of space around it. And then finally we've got the charger, which slots in there as well. Now one thing I noticed about the game cartridge flap is it does have a lump here. This actually goes into the dock and it keeps the dock from being squashed or squeezed. As you can see, it's quite flexible and this section here fits perfectly snug in there, as you can see, and it just keeps that more secure inside of this carry case. Now we can put our cables, HDMI and USB-C cable. And that's basically everything inside of the case. It fits really nice, really secure. You can give it a little shake about and it does feel pretty secure in there. I think the only thing really moving about in here is the Switch 2 Pro controller. The slot for that is quite big, so the controller is moving about. There is this nice big handle on the side of this carry case, so that feels nice and secure to carry all your goods together. The only thing I'm a little bit disappointed about is there's no option to add or clip on a strap, so you can actually put this bag around your shoulder or something like that. It would have been nice to have that as an option included, but removable. I think that would have definitely made this case a more complete package. But this case definitely feels very protective, very padded, nice secure package, very well designed I would say. And it's what you would expect from an official Nintendo product. It should be good at this price point. Now let's look at the $10 alternative Switch 2 carry case from AliExpress. Straight away you can see that the material is not quite as sturdy and not as good quality, but it is a cool design. We've got this sort of Mario blue and red look going on. There's quite a flimsy feeling handle at the top, and as you can see, this case doesn't really hold the shape very well. The way this came was really squashed flat in the packaging, and it was just wrapped in a clear plastic bag. Now opening the zip up, we can open up inside. And this actually wasn't exactly how it came. These sections came flat in the package. So I did just quickly stick these sort of Velcro dividers in. And as you can see, it's almost like they're a bit too big. You've got your different sections here. This is where the Switch will go, I believe. Your dock, your controller, your charger and cables. And you've even got your game cartridge slots up here as well, which is quite nice. There isn't a zip here. So whatever you put in this top section will just be loose and probably will fall out. So we'll start off with the Switch 2 itself. I quite like that you don't have to remove the Joy-Cons for this. It has been designed to be wide enough. Next we'll put in the Switch 2 dock down here. Next we have the Joy-Con grips, fits at the top there. The Switch 2 Pro controller can slot in at the top here as well. And then finally your charging brick right there in the corner. And then we'll just slot our cables at the top here. We've got the HDMI and the USB-C cable at the top there. So that's basically everything inside of here. Once everything's inside, it is actually a pretty decent fit. There is some extra space next to the Joy-Con grips and above the charger if you have anything else you want to include. So yeah, giving it the shake test, it feels fairly secure in there, everything. I would say that's fairly decent actually for the price. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is how little protection there is on each side of the Nintendo Switch. So you can feel the kind of Joy-Cons protruding out a little bit on each side where the Switch 2 console is in the middle. But other than that, for the price and kind of the way this looks, it's pretty cool. If you wanted something a bit more standout and affordable, this isn't a terrible option. Now I think it's pretty clear that the official case is definitely better in pretty much every way. It's more padded, it's more secure. The dividers inside are more accurately designed to fit all of the Switch 2 parts, and it's just overall much better quality. But it's the price difference between the two that makes you question which one is actually worth going for. But you're talking $10 versus about $85 for this case. That's a big difference. So my recommendation would be based on how you actually plan on using the carry cases and how you actually will be traveling or carrying your Switch 2 around. If you're not going to be throwing it into the back of a car or shoving it into an overloaded backpack and really throwing it around, then this sort of carry case will be fine. It's not super protective, but it does hold everything you need fairly securely. But if you are looking for something more rugged, you're going to be throwing this around, you're going to be traveling with it a lot, then maybe you do need something more secure, which it might be worth dishing out the extra money for the official all-in-one carry case, because this is definitely going to be more protective and just overall a better case to travel with your Switch. If this was about half the price, if this was about $45 or $50, then I would quite easily recommend this. It's probably worth the extra money. But with this big of a price difference, it's quite a tough one to recommend this one every single time. And especially if you're on a budget, then you probably will be okay going for a cheap AliExpress carry case, at least for the time being, until the prices drop for the official carry cases. So that is a look at some of the cases for the Switch 2. I would say with the current price differences, it's quite easy to recommend the cheaper cases for most people. But let me know what you think in the comments, which one is the better option. And if there's any more Switch 2 accessories you would like to see, let me know in the comments below and we'll try and make some more videos like this. Subscribe for more, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.